Plato, a name that echoes through the corridors of history. Just hearing the name conjures images of deep thought and philosophical debate, of minds grappling with the fundamental questions of existence. This guy wasn't just smart, he was off the charts brilliant, a true intellectual giant whose ideas have shaped the course of Western thought. Born in ancient Athens, Plato grew up to become one of history's most influential thinkers, a philosopher whose works are still studied and revered today. His ideas about justice, truth, and the good life still resonate with us today, thousands of years later. His dialogues continue to challenge and inspire. But before he was challenging the greatest minds of his time, Plato was just a kid navigating the bustling streets of Athens, absorbing the vibrant culture around him. Imagine a world without smartphones, cars, or even electricity, a world where knowledge was passed down through oral tradition and handwritten scrolls. That's the world Plato was born into, a world rich in tradition and ripe for intellectual exploration. Ancient Athens was a vibrant city-state full of life, learning, and let's be honest, a fair bit of drama. It was a melting pot of ideas and cultures. It was a time of great thinkers, powerful politicians, and epic battles. A time when the seeds of democracy were being sown. And right in the thick of it was young Plato, soaking it all in, his mind a sponge for the rich tapestry of life around him. Now you might think a philosopher like Plato spent his childhood with his nose stuck in a book. And while he definitely loved to learn, his education was far from conventional. Plato was also an active young man. He wrestled, he wrote poetry, and he engaged in the physical and intellectual pursuits that were valued in ancient Greek society. Some even say he competed in the Olympic Games. Imagine that, a philosopher-athlete embodying the Greek ideal of a sound mind and a sound body. This wasn't some stuffy academic. Plato was the real deal. He was a dynamic individual who lived life to the fullest. He lived a life full of adventure and intellectual curiosity, and that's what makes his story so compelling. His journey was one of constant learning and exploration. So let's journey back in time and explore the early life of this extraordinary thinker. Let's uncover the experiences that shaped Plato into the legendary philosopher we know today. Plato wasn't just born in Athens. He was practically Athenian royalty. The city, known for its rich history and cultural significance, was the perfect backdrop for his illustrious beginnings. His family on both sides was swimming in prestige. They were not just any ordinary family, they were deeply entrenched in the political and social fabric of Athens. His father, Ariston, traced his lineage back to the kings of Athens. Talk about a pedigree. This royal connection gave Plato a unique perspective on leadership and governance from a very young age. And his mother, Perictione, was a descendant of Solon, a legendary Athenian lawmaker. Solon's reforms laid the groundwork for Athenian democracy, and this heritage undoubtedly influenced Plato's thoughts on justice and society. So yeah, this kid came from good stock. His upbringing was steeped in the values and traditions of Athenian nobility. Growing up in a wealthy and powerful family meant Plato had a privileged upbringing. He lived in a home filled with luxury, surrounded by art, literature, and the finest things life had to offer. He received the best education available, learning from renowned teachers and scholars. His education wasn't just about rote learning. It was about cultivating a love for knowledge and critical thinking. But don't think for a second that he was some spoiled brat. Despite his privileged background, Plato was known for his humility and dedication to his studies. Plato was known for his sharp mind and his even sharper wit. He had an insatiable curiosity and was always eager to learn more about the world around him. He was always asking questions, challenging assumptions, and pushing the boundaries of conventional thinking. This relentless pursuit of knowledge would later define his philosophical endeavors. Life wasn't all sunshine and philosophy for young Plato, though. Athens was a city-state constantly at war, and the political turmoil of the time was a harsh reality he couldn't escape. Tragedy struck his family when he was just a boy. The loss of his father was a significant blow, leaving a void that would shape his emotional and intellectual development. His father died when Plato was young, leaving his mother to raise him and his siblings. This experience of loss and resilience was a formative part of his early life. This loss undoubtedly had a profound impact on Plato, shaping his worldview and perhaps even fueling his desire to understand the deeper meaning of life. It was this blend of privilege and hardship that molded Plato into the thinker we revere today. Now let's talk education, Athenian style. Forget about fancy classrooms and iPads. Plato's early education was all about hands-on learning. We're talking gymnastics for a strong body, music for a sharp mind, and grammar and rhetoric to become a master communicator. The Athenians believed in developing the whole person, not just stuffing their heads with facts. Imagine young Plato wrestling in the gymnasium, his body glistening with sweat as he grappled with his opponents. Or picture him plucking away at a lyre, his fingers dancing across the strings as he learned the melodies of the great poets. This was education designed to create well-rounded citizens, ready to take their place in Athenian society. But Plato's education wasn't confined to formal schooling. Athens was a city alive with ideas, and the streets themselves were a classroom. He would have witnessed heated debates in the marketplace, listened to the soaring rhetoric of politicians in the assembly, and perhaps even caught a glimpse of plays by the great dramatists like Sophocles and Euripides. Every day was a chance to learn and grow in this vibrant intellectual landscape. Enter Socrates, stage left, a man of humble appearance but immense intellectual prowess. This is where things get really interesting. The bustling agora, the heart of ancient Greek public life, was his stage. Imagine a scruffy, barefoot philosopher with a knack for asking really annoying questions. He was relentless, always probing, always questioning. That's Socrates in a nutshell. He was a man who lived simply, yet his thoughts were anything but simple. He wasn't interested in impressing anyone with fancy speeches or complex theories. His goal was pure and unadulterated truth. Socrates just wanted to get to the truth, even if it meant making everyone around him uncomfortable. He believed that discomfort was the first step towards wisdom. Now, Plato was already a bright young spark, but meeting Socrates changed everything. It was a meeting of minds that would alter the course of history. He was drawn to Socrates' unconventional wisdom and his relentless pursuit of knowledge. Socrates' method of questioning everything resonated deeply with Plato. Imagine these two, strolling through the agora, the marketplace of ideas, engaging in intense philosophical debates that would last for hours. Their conversations were not just idle chatter, but profound explorations of truth and existence. Socrates, with his probing questions, was like a sculptor chiseling away at the marble of ignorance, constantly challenging Plato's assumptions and forcing him to think critically. This was a rigorous intellectual training ground. This wasn't just about learning a few philosophical theories. It was about a complete transformation of thought. This was about questioning everything Plato thought he knew about the world. Socrates became Plato's mentor, his guide, and his intellectual compass, and dare I say, his intellectual sparring partner. Under Socrates' tutelage, Plato's mind was set ablaze with a passion for knowledge and a thirst for truth. Plato's mind was set ablaze with a passion for knowledge and a thirst for truth that would shape the rest of his life. He began to see the world through a new lens, one that valued wisdom above all else. The encounter between these two titans of thought would change the course of Western philosophy forever. Their legacy is a testament to the power of questioning and the relentless pursuit of truth.